Hello princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today I have the distinct pleasure of being able to show you the brand new Natasha Denona Retro Palette. This is the brand new midi-sized $65 size price-wise palette that we all love that price, and this pan size so much. This is not to be confused with the mini retro palette. That was a $25 palette that came out, goodness, time escapes me, a season or two ago. We are going to take a look at this in the pan. We're going to do lots of arm swatches and comparisons and a demonstration. But before we do that, I do want to give a big shout out and a huge thank you to Makeup Crazy. Most of you probably follow Makeup Crazy already on Instagram, but if you don't, do yourself a treat and follow her. Not only does she have the very best makeup news and makeup gossip, but what I really love is she doesn't have fear in saying what is on her mind. So many of us these days feel like we have kind of tape over our mouths. We're so afraid to say anything. Makeup Crazy says what she thinks. When something is wasteful, she says it. When something is silly, she says it. And I find that so much fun. And she lets me get away with my silly, snarky comments as well. The reason I am thanking her is she is the one who reached out to me and let me know that this palette was already available. And that is the reason that I was able to get it. So I am so grateful. Please pop on over to her Instagram, which I will have linked below, and tell her Rebecca says hello. I'm so appreciative. All right, let's get into talking about this guy. The first thing I want to do is I am going to show you this palette in some footage I took yesterday before I got my grubby fingers in it, because I thought you would probably want to see it all pristine and beautiful. So here it is untouched. So it's first row, second row, third row, and it is, of course, 15 shades. Let's take a look and I will tell you the names. We have left to right, starting all the way left, we have Glitz, that pinky shade there, followed by Andy, Jude, Maud, and Vivian. Then the second row is Groove, Apart, Psychedelic, Go-Go, and Patty. And then we have Swing, Nude Mauve, Rebellion, Hello, and Amara all the way to the right. Those are the 15 shades, and that is the pristine palette. Now I want to talk a little bit about some comparisons. It is really funny because when Makeup Crazy and I were chatting in DMs on Insta, we were like, is it the Love palette and the Bronze palette having a baby? Is it the, we really kind of were, is it the Glam palette? We were trying to figure it out, and interestingly enough, when I laid it all out on my floor, there are similarities, but there's not as many as you'd think. Like, to me, this gave me immediate Love palette vibes. I'm not entirely sure. So let's do the comparisons that come to mind immediately. And then if you have extra for your, just for your information before you purchase or decide to purchase, just give a request. I'm happy to throw any sort of comparison swatches up on Insta, anything that I missed that you think you like, but hopefully I'll hit on some of the bigger ones now. First of all, I want to show you in the pan and then on the arm, this palette, this new midi-sized retro palette. Boy, have people been asking for this. Next to the mini, they are related, maybe distant cousins. I just don't really see it, but there is the mini retro and the midi retro, brand new right here in my hand. Let's take a look on it on my arm, a look at it on my arm. They don't have too much to do, but they would actually go really nicely together. By the way, in case you are wondering, this is the box that the new midi-size retro comes in, this really pretty kind of blush pink box. Just thought I would show that to you for your information. All right, the other thing I want to look at is some of these together. So I immediately got Love vibes, but this is not really that similar to the Love palette. Here they are together. Here is the Love palette. Here is the new retro. I mean, I do get the vibes from it, but they are not the same at all. This doesn't lean as purple. Plus, it doesn't have greens. I've heard people complaining about the pictures online with no greens. This kind of stays in its lane, this new retro palette. And here it is with the Love palette. Let's see, what I did here on my arm is I left the retro palette swatch up there, and then I added from left to right, Actually, I put Soul on the left from the Love palette, Heart and Heartbeat from Love, and Brick. It's a kind of brick shade is Heartbeat from Love, and Soul. Sorry about that. So we have Heartbeat and Soul from Love swatched underneath the Retro palette. Let's look at Glam here. So here is Glam. This is the other one that kind of gave me those kind of cool vibes. So here's Glam. Here's Retro, the new Retro. Again, they kind of have those cool leaning similarities, but they're not similar palettes at all. And on my arm, I did on the left, Outer Eyelid from Glam. Remember that those are the names in the Glam palette is placement. Smoke from Glam and Crease from Glam underneath the shades I thought they most compared to in the new Retro palette. And let's look at a few others here. So I took out Zendo, just so you could see. They're nothing alike, but here's Zendo, and here is Retro. Let's look at Bronze and Retro, and then I got a few swatches of some of the shades I picked out that were similar. Here is Bronze, which we all know and love, and Retro. And just for fun, here is, I'm just pulling out lots of middies really, Sunrise and Retro. Nothing alike at all, but there are certain shades inside that are. So let's go to an arm swatch where I have the Retro up there, and then on the bottom from left to right we have the Tranquil shade from Zendo, the Magma shade from Bronze, and the Clove shade from Sunrise. As I thought, some of you don't mind palette hopping to get a similar look, and if you don't mind palette hopping, you can dupe a lot of individual shades, but you won't dupe the mood of this palette. You know where else my head went when I saw this? I immediately thought of Enduring Love from Sydney Grace, but I was pretty much wrong. I'm not doing arm swatches of those, but just in case your head went there too, this is the lighter Enduring Love from Sydney Grace. And here is the Retro. I switched hands. I shouldn't have done that. Here's Retro, and here is Enduring Love from Sydney Grace. Similar vibes, but they are not similar palettes, probably because we have this blue-green that a lot of people wish were here in the Love palette, in the Retro palette, I'm sorry, but it is not. So there is the Retro. Again, we are now going to do a demo, but if I missed any swatches, you know, I took out the Pat McGrath Motherships, and I was like, okay, it's going to get Divine Rose and Divine Rose 2. It just wasn't similar enough, but if there's any particular shades that you want swatched, just let me know, and I'm certainly very happy to do it for you. Let us go to a demonstration so I can show you how a variety of these shades apply. Spoiler alert, I am really enjoying it and think that you will too, so take a look. Okay, I don't know about you, but my favorite part, time for the demo. So I have some Sonia G brushes out here, a whole bunch of them, and our beautiful Natasha Denona Retro Palette. Let's start with Mauve right here. And you know what I'll do? I'm going to put the shade names on the screen so that I'm able to kind of hold them up. Now this is a really, really pale shade. Let's just see what we can do with it all over the lid. And it is really pale, but I kind of like that because it just kind of sets the concealer. I didn't use a shadow primer. I just used a concealer, and that's fine. Let's just get it set and do just kind of a quick everyday look. And I will, like I said, put the shades that I'm using down below on the screen. Okay, let's jump over here. Same Sonia G Sky Brush, and just take this and just kind of paint it on and go in circles there. These are just two really, really light shades, and of course it depends on your skin shade what you would choose, but I'm just kind of trying to just prime and just get my eye ready, and I'm stalling because I'm kind of choosing, sticking with the same brush, gonna go right here, second in on the second row. Oop, tap off, sorry about blowing, that's not good. Tap it off and circles there. These are all really light shades. I'm being very timid here, but they are applying just beautifully. This is a first impression, and they are applying just beautifully, and that is such a lovely gentle shade of almost ballet pink that is very, very pretty. Let me go in a little bit more with that, and just kind of, I have hooded eyes, so I need to just kind of swirl up a little bit higher than most would, just trying to do a really simple look. I'm going to take this also Sky Brush, same shade, and go underneath, make a funny face and go underneath and all around. I'm just kind of trying to jump around a little bit. Let's use the same one now. Let's go in with a different Sonia G brush, and let's go in down here. So we're going to stick with these shades here. Now this will have a lot more impact and punch, and I'm just going on the corner and using my fingers a little bit. It's really pretty, isn't it? Just trying to give a little definition to the edges there. And I want to run that underneath as well. So I'm going to go back to the same brush and go into the same shade. And just kind of go under there. Now what I really want to do, I want to stop for just a moment and just kind of appreciate that kind of warmth. It gives me Love Palette vibes when it's on the eyes, even though, as you saw, it's not really a same as the Love Palette or a dupe for the Love Palette, but it just kind of on the eyes gives that kind of vibe. And I even used the Duo, Love Cheek Duo, because I just kind of thought it would go, and it does. And this is the Amorosa I Need a Nude lipstick, all kind of part of, really, of that kind of lovey collection, because it gives me those vibes, even though this is a much more rich palette for autumn and for fall. Let's go in on the rest of the eye with this. I'm just trying to jump around. I will remind you that with Natasha Denona, she generally will work in quadrants or rows. So for instance, if you're overwhelmed by these palettes, you could go with these 4 or these 4 or these 3. She likes to do that, but I'm just kind of jumping around just so I can try out so many of the shades. And just kind of being safe. And I'm kind of just using this shade right here just to blend in. But if you are kind of intimidated when you get a larger palette and there's a lot of shades in it, then Natasha Denona really does make that fairly easy for us to just kind of take a quadrant, or everything next to each other kind of works with each other. The whole palette works together. There's no rules. But I'm just saying, if you are easily intimidated, and I certainly wouldn't blame you. So there I just kind of blended it all in, and it is time for something a little bit more celestial over the top. So we have a lot to choose from. I am going to go right here down below. Again, I'm going to put these names up there, and I'm going to just kind of put that right there in the middle of the eye, all the way to the edge, and see what that did. Isn't that pretty? And the middle all the way to the edge. Oh gosh, that's really pretty. And you know what I like about this? It's kind of a shade in and of itself, so not just a topper shade, and therefore infinitely useful no matter where it is that you want to use it. And then I want to take this same little brush here, and let's just go for it. Let's go into this really heavy pink shade. I don't know if I'm going to regret this or not, and go into the corner. No, I'm not regretting it. It's very pretty. And just go into the inner corners there. And up here. Again, the reminder that if you are intimidated by these types of palettes, just work in quadrants or rows of 3, or anything near each other would work together. Again, it all works together. Let me get some mascara on, and let's give a talk about this really cool new palette. Stay right there. Okay, I added on a little bit of mascara, a little bit of eyeliner. We have a very simple, very rosy, everyday look. It throws off vibes of all the rosy palettes out there, but somehow is a little bit different, and I like it. All of the shadows applied beautifully. I have had some time in between filming, and everything has lasted and not moved and not gone muddy or messy. I think it is certainly a very, very pretty palette, and is going to become a favorite of a lot of Natasha Denona fans out there. I think this is going to top some lists, but we shall see. Let me know if you are interested in getting this palette for yourself and how you feel about this midi size, because most people just love it. I just kind of want to hear your comments below, so go ahead and leave them. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, which I sure hope that you did. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.